How are you doing, people? Right. Okay. So how we doing, people? He's all right. This is probably the last time I'm going to focus on this particular aspect of people trying to manipulate and tell lies about what's actually going on. You know, before people get to cameras and stuff like that, you know, you have to understand the fundamentals of the earth, the plane that we're on. You know, when we're even talking about perspective, okay, and the way we look at it, the way the world is to us, the way we draw it, these things are telling us that you're on a plane, okay? The way perspective works only works on a plane, right? It's simple. Same as the water, same as construction, same as everything else. We'll get to that a bit later on in this, okay? There's a few things I want to talk about when we're talking about perspective, linear perspective, perspective drawings, some of the assumptions and some of the things people are actually missing. So what I'm going to show, me and Dan have made this, okay? So what I've got is I've got my video and my stuff saved from earlier on this afternoon, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this, and I'm going to show you, you know, how you know that this is what a guy like Miles Davis has done. Blatant liar, okay? Now it's getting to the point where these people are really, really desperate to warp people's minds and attention, right? To diffuse people, to make people have doubt and, oh no, I don't know how it works, so therefore I'm just going to resort back to my base beliefs. You know, we can't be doing this. You know, first and foremost, when people are saying something's scientific, it has to be verified. It has to be, you know, all the crosses have to be done. You know, we have to see how it's laid out. We have to prove things are laid out the way they're saying, you know. But I can reverse engineer this guy's image and I can show you what he's done and I can recreate it, which I have done. Okay? Now, knowing his place, anybody can do this, right? So what we need to understand first and foremost, okay? If we're going to take an observation anywhere, right, the first thing we have to do is make sure the camera is perfectly level, so that the horizon intersects the centre of the screen. Now remember that the centre of the screen is always where the camera is looking, okay? If you're perfectly level, the horizon will always be at the centre of the screen because the horizon is always at the line of the observer, always. Now, you can go and you can read up in any artist, any perspective drawing, and they will all repeat the same thing. Even when they're drawing, they talk about drawing in the picture plane between the parallels, okay? So we'll get to that a bit later on, you know, the parallels, right? As I say, so you need to understand that, okay? It's got to be perfectly levelled, all right? And if it is levelled, the horizon will line up at the centre of the screen. Now, any image you see, the centre of that image, unless somebody's, you know, taken the image and then used a tool to zoom in on a particular bit, we're not talking about fuckery. We're talking about when a camera takes an image and that's the image that's presented without any fucking about with it. The lens is always going to show you where you're pointing at. That's just a fact. Okay? You can't, there's no way to escape this. So I listened to this guy, he's upload, still trying to dig his heels in. Flat earthers and people are saying that it's not in the centre of the screen. It doesn't. I know it's below, but it's just a wee bit. No, no, no. If you're telling me you're at the same height as something, you have to be levelled, and that thing has to intersect the central point of your screen. You don't set the camera on top of it. You intersect the centre. Then the centre of the eye, the centre of the lens is perfectly level with the object in the foreground, which I have recreated as well, just to show you the differences. Okay, so let me just have a wee look through this here. I need to check this. So my video, you know, I've just put it all together and just uploaded it so that we've got something to reference. So I'll just take it from where I've done it and I'll explain what's happening and then you can see the results. Okay, so let's just have a wee reminder. First and foremost, I debunk them fakery image that has people in a tizzy. Hello everybody in the chat, I'll come to that shortly. So, what you need to understand here, okay, so he's obviously been cropping. This has been cropped again, right? Because he's cutting off the top of his thing. Doesn't matter. Even in this one, the centre's up here, okay? And we've got a line here in the bottom portion of the screen telling you that the angle's pointing up the way, right? That's where it's pointing. That's where the centre of lens is, okay? So you need to remember this. We'll use the picture. I'll come back to the picture. I'm going to keep it there and then I'm going to show you the comparison and how this chap's done what he's done. And I notice he's taken one of these images away. So he's obviously now realising he's been found out and he's now trying to cover his fucking ass. You better get his channel deleted. You're known now to be a deceptive little cult liar, actively lying against your fellow human. Right? I don't give a shit about you, wee man. You play these fucking games, people start playing these games, as I've said before. I ain't interested in blame or having aggro with anybody, but when you start to see these people actively trying to deceive, manipulatively trying to deceive, you've got an issue. And the other aspects, you can see now this cult, the globe cult, coming out in numbers, fight the flat earth, and you've got these clowns sitting about in wee bitch groups, just bitching and sniggering and hey, laughing at people, not providing any scientific proof of anything. So again, we're dealing with the objective world, no personal, no about personalities, it's not about any of that. But yet all the globe and its wee cultists can offer is wee bitch fests, wee snidey, bitchy, wee creepy cunts. That's what they are. And I'm going to keep highlighting. I'm going to show you, and later on hangouts, these clowns, the fallacious nonsense that's coming out of them. As I say, all it is wee bitter, bitchy women sitting about bitching and talking about people. It's getting desperate. And now they're trying to portray people that question the globe as the cult. I'm not an organisation. I don't have a fucking church. I don't have funds. I'm no ushering people in. I'm no flooding my education system with utter trite and bollocks. That's the globe. That's the dangerous cult. And I'm going to make sure that people know it's a dangerous cult. Look at the shit, the wars, the famine, the fucking absolute bullshit that people are going through because of this cult and its seedy little grip that it has on people's minds. So, let's get to it, shall we? So as I say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this. I've got it in video here, okay? And I can't remember the order I've put it in, so you just need to bear with me. The points will be made, and I'll show you what's what, all right? So this part's just to demonstrate that these ones that we're using in the foreground are twice as small as the grey object. So what you need to see is that these are going to represent the bridge in the foreground, and this is going to represent something that is actually twice as high as these that are in the foreground. We'll also use some of these just to give a bit of variation. So as you can see there, we've got different heights. We're going to use these as the foreground representing the bridge that Miles Elias Davis has shown us. And what I'm going to do first and foremost is I'm going to recreate the shot that Miles Davis got to show why that can be below this. Okay? So what I'm going to show you first and foremost is that the table is perfectly level. Cross section of the table cross section, just to show you that the bubble's perfectly level. And again on this side, so we know the table's level, the table's not curving anywhere. That's that. Okay. So, what I'm going to show first is a recreation of the Miles Davis image. So, as you can see, I've got the same size objects. We have the taller objects, just so you can see that. Okay, and then we'll show how it would look if these objects were aligned perfectly with a level camera intersecting the centre of the lens. So how we captured the image was because I'll need to come back to that because that's afterwards. Doesn't lie. So what I'm doing now, this is to show how it should look if everything is going to be lined up perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a marker here. Come back to that. Good. Or just recreating the fakery again. So as you can see, distance projects are much from, the longest, the tallest one. So we'll make that look, just to show, we'll put these ones which are slightly shorter. But still, these ones are still taller. Or just bear with me, I need to find what's what here. It's twice of the back show. And these ones recreate because the second line. So here we are. Okay. So this is exactly the way Miles Davis has showed you his image. Right? So there's my eye line. I'm just going to draw a line across the top of the bridge in the foreground and profess that this here is the level. This is where my camera actually is. All right? There it is. I'll just draw a red line. Now, you should believe me because I don't need to prove anything to you. I'm just going to draw a line across the top and look. What's this? Below the top of these, every one of them, even the cooker is now down below. The worktop is almost down below the shot in the foreground. Here we are again. Now we're zooming in. So here's my eye level here. These are in the foreground. These are half the size of this one here. Can you see this clearly? Exact same. Just drawing a red line across the bottom of the screen here, saying that's where my eye is. Again, from further back, so you get the full view. There's my eye line. These are below the objects in the foreground. That's twice the height of the objects in the foreground. Now, this is how it should look. When the camera is aligned level with the objects in the foreground, and we're looking horizontally straight, that's what you see. Look at the height of the cooker and the worktop above there. So you can see clearly now what Miles Davis has done. Okay, how do you know? Where's the centre of shot? There. Same as here. Centre of shot's here. Why we get red lines here? Because Miles Davis is lower than these, and he's pointing his camera into the sky, creating a parallax of the taller things at the background falling below the line of the objects in the foreground. Can you see it? Again, from the full shot, twice the height. That cooker's twice the height. Laptop's twice the height. Oh, why are they falling down? Because I'm fucking looking up there. The same as Miles, the little line prick Davis has done. Can you see it, people? Is there any doubts? Are you still fucking confused? Because you bloody well shouldn't be. Anybody can recreate this. Centre of shot is where the lens is fucking pointing. Where's his lens pointing? It's no fucking lined up here. It's no, the centre of his lens is no lined up with that height. He's a fucking liar. Again, that's how it should look. Camera at the height of that. No, it sits above. No, the cooker sits above. The worktop sits above. From the full view, okay? Centre of shot, right there. Because I am lined up perfectly with the height of that in the foreground. That's still above. The cooker's above. The worktop's above. It's a bit fuzzy, that one. So again, oh look, this is what happens when you're lined up properly. Again, so you can see what it should look like. Yeah. These ones which are slight, these ones, and again, where are they? Dropping. Because now I'm pointing up the way. See it? Below. 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 Below the foreground objects. Centre of shot. You know I'm pointing up.
Top of that brick.
So this is how we do it. Spirit level. Mark the top of that with that, and then align the camera.
It's eye level, but that's not what we're trying to show. We're trying to set it here. So what we're doing now is the height of the first marker will be intersecting the centre of the
There's a marker there.
Yeah, it's pretty bang on, yeah. Okay. It levelled on every. Yeah, I can just put it right up and show so it's level on the horizontal. And we'll level the central point. Okay. Get it up and show how it really should look. So again, the distance prime. So we'll move to the solid. Now I can show
So again, just to ram this right home for you people, centre a shot. Centre a shot. That's where you're looking into the sky. You're below that point, looking up the way. That's how we done it. Okay? So, you should be under absolutely no illusions or doubts about what this guy's done. You want to line up a shot that you tell me you're level with someone in the foreground. You show me. You show me your level. You show me you're lined up perfectly, intersecting the lens with your object in the foreground. You prove that. You can't. I can. And I can recreate your bullshit. So, these clowns need to be put to bed. He's no level with the object in the foreground, David Marks. I've just shown it. Do you know what? It fucking frustrates and infuriates me that people just can't get this. It really does piss me off. You can't be that stupid. It's blatant deception. It's blatant fuckery to deceive people. It's a fact. When you're eye level, the horizon's always where your eye or lens is, right? So if I'm straight parallel, looking straight out, perfectly parallel with the plane beneath my feet, the horizon will be at my eye line. Okay. Now, if I go like that and I look up there, that's now my centre of shot. Okay. So if that's where I take the frame, right, that's the angle I'm looking at. My horizon's still down here. So don't listen to any of their pish. And this is a problem. You've got people jumping on sides of this, and it's not even fucking scientific. There's no verification of level. There's no verification of you actually being right aligned with the object in your foreground, and people are just saying, oh, well done, yeah, oh no, I'm confused. Morons. Absolute morons. Should be fucking ashamed of yourselves. Gustav, listen, mate. He's no at the same elevation as the top of the mast. I've just shown you how it would look when it's perfectly aligned with the centre of your lens. He's below it, looking up the way. Therefore, they're dropping in the background. I've just fucking showed you it. Stop being fucking lazy, people. Set the things up. Show it. Look, here's the thing. The Earth's a plane. Observably, blatantly obvious. Water always equalises upon its surface. It's a parallel horizontal line. That's the facts. That's the substances in the world. So when you get dipshits like him coming with photographs, professing it's this and it's that, you know he's a liar. All you then have to do is figure out how he's lied. And I've showed you. Is there anybody that's actually decent that understands or fails to understand this? Let me hear your rebuttals. Let me hear what your issues are. Hurry up. Slice Barkane, would you mean you want to know my claim? If you're telling me that you're doing an observation, show your camera level. Show that your object in the foreground is intersecting the centre of the fucking lens. And then you will know because it lines up with the horizon. That's when you're perfectly parallel with the earth beneath your feet. Centre of image shows you the direction the lens is pointing in. Up or down, left or right, whatever. You're always going to get a square on view, but you know if it's looking up or if it's looking down. Miles Davis is below the tower parts of the bridge, looking into the sky. And I've recreated it and shown it. Good, Meryl. See this? Why not go there? Because he's fucking lying. I don't need to go to recreate what he's done. Are you fucking thick? Are you stupid? It's not up to me to do anything. It's up to Miles Davis to scientifically do his fucking observations properly, which he's not done. And I'm showing you why he's not done them right. And he's lying. There you go. There's the fucking image. What's wrong with the image? What's this red line here? Telling you that's his eye level. Why is it halfway down the screen? It's halfway down there, halfway between the centre point of the image, because he's looking up into the fucking sky, not level and parallel with the earth beneath his feet. Same. Oh, look, I'll just say there's my eye level here, down here, right? What Miles has done and drawn a red line across the top, and this here that's twice the height, and that at the back that's twice the height is down below the object in the foreground. That's half the size. So there you go, recreated, busted, shown. Where's the camera pointing? Up there. No horizontal, no parallel, no level. Get it right up ease. It's not just the nail in the coffin of Miles Davis, Mr. Cheswick. Now that we're going to start talking about actual perspective and what's going on, it's going to show everybody. I mean, there's enough to show everybody you're on a plane. But now when we actually look at perspective, you know, when you rise, that horizon that's meant to be curving away from you, your feet in every direction, should never be elevating up, should never be coming to the level of your eye, ever, ever. Bear with me a wee second here, because I want to line up this next aspect. So what I'm going to show here is this other aspect of this deceiver, right? So this is taken from Miles Davis again. So this here that he's done, this is how it would look with your object in the foreground. And you, okay, so now we can get into the next aspect, because see this thing he's doing. Look, where everything's converging to the central point. Right? Let's now discuss this, because there's serious problems here that I'm going to show you. First of all, I'm going to send this link to Gav. All right, Gav, you're having issues. Okay, no bother, man. So, that's fine. I'll just continue on and show the problems. So, anybody still got any doubts? How he's doing? Spirit of long-term magnetic conscious in REM, clearly flat earth, all praise the blue marble. I don't need to go to Traprain, you fucking prick. You go to Traprain, you set it up properly, scientifically, no a botched fucking bullshit. And then try and pass it off as some sort of scientific proof. You clown. I don't need to. I know it's level. Oh, I need to sit here and show how the deceptive little globe cult disciples try and deceive people, which I've just done. Again. That's perfect. Okay. Let me just share this now because I want to talk about this. Right. So here, this, how we see in perspective and how we draw it and blah, blah, blah. Now, the optical devices are pretty much subject the same. Okay, they see the world slightly different, obviously, because it's not a human eye. Okay, but when we put it onto paper, right? Now, the issue is here, right? Perfect symmetry, all right? Now, in reality, we are not directly in the center of the planes, the plane above and the plane below. We are down here on this plane. Okay, that's where we are. So that rising here is more acute than that up there. There is more of that above us because we're no floating about up in the air, right in the central point between the earth and the fucking top of the sky, whatever it is. We'll get to that. Right? So remember this picture for me now. So what I want to say about this here. So if I'm showing you a side-on perspective of how the lens, the eye sees, okay, we've got this thing happening, right? Do you understand? So the observer's here, and we've got this. That's how things work in the world. That's how we see, right? Now, you'll have people saying, oh, but look, the horizon drops slightly below the crosshairs of my theodolite or my whatever. Here's why that is. You will never, it depends what you're defining, because see, when we're using a theodolite, we're looking for the ground plane, right? Now, any device you're using, whether it be an eye, camera, theodolite, okay, it's this part is always going to be below the center crosshair because it is not in reality actually coming and meeting the sky at an actual fixed point. The floor and the sky will never intersect the central point of your eye or any lens that you're using. So if you're looking for the floor will always just be below the very center of any lens because it never actually touches in reality. In order for you to get the floor and the sky to actually meet, you'd have to be living in something physical that actually touched here at this point. So when they're showing you these theodolites and, oh, look, the horizon's slightly below, no, the ground plane's slightly below centre, because in reality, the two never meet. Now, because we are on this one right at the bottom, there's more of an angle. This one at the top has an overlap slope because it's higher It's got height above us, right? So things are going to get obscured first here. That's why stuff up in the sky that's tall doesn't. Do you understand? So the vanishing point is because we see between two planes. Okay? We see between two planes, but we're closer to the bottom plane. So it's got more of an acute angle to your perception. We would have to be directly in the midpoint between the two planes to create that image that I showed you of everything converging to the central point evenly, floor and sky. And then we would see what actually happened with objects in that vicinity. But we don't. We are here on this part here. And the sky's overlapping because that's at more in an acute angle than what we see the sky at. You understand? So crosshairs, theodolites, oh look, the ground's slightly beneath the central point. And that's because in reality it can never intersect the central point of your eye, or else you're coming to the end of the world and it's like that, joined with the sky and the fucking ground. There's always going to be a space in there that we call the vanishing point. I hope you understand. That has to be pushed, Corey Cors. I told these people I am going to break them. They're not going to get away with deception. Do I have to run through it again? Anybody tells you that their optical device is level and at the same height as something, the horizon will intersect the lens in the middle. The picture frame that any lens takes, the center of the image shows you where the camera is pointing. A fact, no way to get away from it. Just so you're clear, I'm going to show Miles's picture and I'm going to show mine's, so you can see the very similar, almost identical comparison. Okay? If I'm Miles Davis, I'm just drawing an arbitrary red line here and telling you, without proving it in any scientific way, shape or form, that my lens is intersected by the very top of that object. And these objects in the background are much higher than these, the cooker, the pieces of Lego, the worktop. How are they below? Centre of image. Where am I looking? Centre of image. Where am I looking? Oh, I'll just draw a red line here and tell you that's the height of my camera. My camera's here. My table must be curved because my camera's right here. Look, look. My camera's right there. That's twice the height of that. How can it possibly be below it? My table's curved. Although I showed you with a spirit level that it's fucking well not. Miles Davis picture. We'll just draw red lines here. Tell you that's where we are. When we're bloody well no. We're looking up there. That's why they're falling. And that's all uneven as well. Now I guarantee you, if these portions are actually physically higher than that. If you took your camera up to the top of that, right, climbed up and put your lens halfway across the top of that, intersecting your lens, anything that's higher will remain higher. Okay? Do you see it? Bang. Draw the line. Oh, look. How's that there? My table's curved.
This is done because go. Just recreation. Go. Hey.
Now, there was a side point to show you how subtle the angle is. Okay? Now, when we want to actually show you it for real, you show the spirit level, you show the camera's level, you show the object intersecting the centre of the lens, and what do you get? You get a real representation of how it actually looks. No a botched fucking image. There. Okay? Now, we're lined up on the centre. And it's higher. So is the cooker. And so is that. Now you know where I'm pointing. I'm pointing right to the centre of the fucking screen. Centre of the screen. Centre. That's how it looks.
Line them up. The bakery, go to that speed.
Shit. Okay? That's how it looks. See the difference? Good. Shouldn't be any more fucking confusion now, should there? So you're getting them that, you know, they're getting morons posting it, recreating the same deception, trying to pass it off as proof. And they're showing you exactly what they're doing. They're always below the object in the foreground. Okay? Now, that's above your straight on view. So it is going to be higher than the object that's professed to be at the same height in the background. Because of perspective. I don't know. Was it really that hard? I've just done Miles's picture, you fucking penis eater. Anybody can go and test the horizon for themselves. When your eyes, go and look at and read up on perspective drawing. Oh, if you lie down at the beach, the horizon's at your eye level. But if you stand up, you can see further. And the horizon's still at your eye level. And if you go higher, you can see even further with the horizon still at your eye level. Impossible on a ball. How do we know? Because the geometry of a sphere dictates that wherever you are, the sphere is curving away downwards from you in every direction. Do you go up to the top of a building and angle your camera down to look at the horizon? No, you bloody well don't. That right there and then should be telling you something. Never mind the left to right curving Miles Davis photo. I've just shown you that Miles Davis is at it. So would everybody accept it then? So here we go. All right, I'm just going to do this again. Right. Would everybody accept it? Hold on. Would everybody accept me just showing them this picture and saying, by the way, I'm just going to draw a red line across the top of these and I'm going to tell you that that's the height of my camera. That's the height of my camera. Right, and I'll draw a red line and that proves it. Would you accept that? No, you fucking well would not. And you shouldn't be accepting it. Can you see? Can you see? I don't fucking know. You get people going on about critical thought and opinions and let's just think we to differ and all this stuff. No, when it comes to objectivity, there isn't opinion. There's no two sides. Oh, you can just believe this and I'll just believe that. Fuck off. Objective reality is not subject to your belief or opinion or fakery or bias or any of these things. Good on you, Mr. Cheswick. I appreciate you cutting up some of the videos. Again, I'm very cautious of people becoming some sort of gurus and idols and whatever else. But if the content you think is worth sharing with people, fine. But, you know, I'm always going to play it down. And it's no, you know, because I don't appreciate it or any of these things. It's just because I'm not going to rise to any of that. I'm not anybody's guru. And I don't want to be a personality for other people or an authority or any of these things. So I know that it's just based on content, what's being offered, and I appreciate it. So, is there anybody that would like to join me for a while? Anybody that I can trust, that I can send a link to this? And I'll know if it's somebody I can trust. If it's strangers, I'm not sending a link. So if there's anybody there that wants to come in, let me know. Nice one, Mr. Cheswick. You know what I'm saying. I just had to address it. But Pragmatic, you want to join me? Do you want to join me, Pragmatic? Nice one. How am I going to send you this link? Because I don't have you as a contact on the Google Hangouts. Can you find me and friend request me? Or give me something that I can send you. Exactly. We don't need to go, I've shown her it's bullshit. It's not up to us to do anything. It's up to these people to provide actual scientific, measured proof of what they're trying to tell you is going on. Not just flimsy, there's my picture, I'll draw an arbitrary red line, tell you that's my height, and then say, how's that form behind it? I've just shown you how you do that. Hang on a wee second here. Pragmatic, I'm waiting for you to let me know. In fact, I'll go to your channel actually, that's what I'll do. I'll go to your channel. Have you got an email on your channel? How do I do this here? Right, there you're there. How do I send you a message? It's not giving me the option to about add to contacts. Right, I've added you to contacts, Trackmatic. So the other important aspect of this, again, I just want to reiterate it for people. When we're looking at perspective, you've got to remember that you're closer to the ground plane, okay? You're not up in the middle, hovering in the sky. When you get people showing you theodolites and crosshairs and saying the ground's just below the central point, that's because it can never actually intersect by that central point, or you'd be looking into a hill. Right? It's always going to just be below, and so is the sky. And then we've got this space that we call the vanishing point. Now, there must be a way that I can get Pragmatic here. So just while I'm waiting, I'm just going to show you this again, because this is this guy. Okay, where are we looking? We're looking up there, right? We're below that. Looking up here. And there's a peak that's still above. Okay? Pragmatic, I'm not sure if you're still about, mate. You can let me know. It's going to be an open hangout tomorrow night. I'll be on the OBS, so it will be open to everybody. Let's get Miles Davis and all his crew, all his wee fucking bumlickers, Wolfie, all the lot of them, get them all out here. Every fucking one of them. He's claiming that his camera lens is aligned at the exact same height as the top of those towers. He's not. And he's not showing anything. He's not showed you leveling of the camera. He's not showing you the level of the lens intersecting the top of the spire. He's just fucked about till he's got the right shot, took it, and then tried to convince everybody that that's what he's done. And he's not showed anything. He's just showing you the effect that he was trying to create, that anybody can create. If you're below the height, any object in your foreground, right, If there's things that beyond that that are taller than the object in your foreground, they'll fall beneath. Okay? When you're looking up. Anybody else wants to join me just now? Anybody else I know that I have on my contacts, if you're there and you want to come in, something to say about this? Questions? Points? Come on. You go to the same point. The burden's not on us. The burden is on Miles Davis to do his observation properly. Miles Davis needs to get clearance to be able to climb up one of the towers so he can mount his camera on the tower, so that the top of the tower intersects the centre of his lens and his camera has to be shown to be absolutely level. Shows that, Miles Davis? I bet you don't, son. Remember, anybody that's in chat boxes, you click the wee dots and you can go to their channel just to make sure it is actually them. There's a lot of spoofing going on. Recently, I've seen Beyond Belief's account being spoofed. So it's got the same image, it's the same name, it's the same capital letters at the start of each word. And they're spoofing accounts, running about culty behaviour. I don't have to be deceptive. I don't need sock accounts. I don't need to mimic anybody. Neither does any of the other honest people. Again, we're just seeing this cult and its desperation. And now they're all sitting about in wee echo chambers, circle jerks, bitching about people without providing anything scientific or logical in any way, shape or form. Absolutely nothing. So tomorrow night, go and pester every one of these clowns. Tell them all to come here. Let's hear what they've got to say. What have they got to show us? Fuck all. Right, Andrew. The other reality deniers jumping the box. Again, just something very simple. Of the horizon. Following your eye. No matter how high you go or how low you go. Right there and then. Right, I'm just going to check the invites right now, Meryl. Exactly, Spirit along Phil. I've seen that with Jamie Brown. This idiotic image was enough to sway Jamie Brown, who's professing he's a critical thinker and encouraging people to be critical, and then jumping shit when he sees a fucking shoddy image. It's pathetic. Really is pathetic. Contacts, phone calls, contacts. Where's the invite thing? Invites. Nah, nothing there. I've got nothing against people. I've got nothing against Jamie Brown. What I've got a problem with is people in their flimsy discernment and making decisions based on flimsy discernment and not taking responsibility for that. Because at the end of the day, you're putting yourself in a public place, right? And you're professing all these things. And then you go and you behave like that. It's absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, it sure is, Dale.
Is that?
It's Andrew.
How you doing, mate?
Good, mate.
Good.
Hey, I've just been, I was doing it first thing this morning, recreating exactly this with my P900. You know, it has the virtual horizon in it.
Yeah.
Tells you when it's inclined and level and that, shooting it down. I'll be uploading it. It's demonstrably fact, repeatable.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing we're never going to see from these people is a demonstration, because any demonstration will prove the lie.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, Andrew. And it's no difficult, you know.
No, it's so simple.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I talk about being committed and understanding the principles first and foremost before any camera observation. And then once you're committed and you understand and you know your factual reality, when you get deceivers offering you up images, you know it's just a matter of figuring out how they done it and what they've actually done. And that's what I've shown, and I'm sure you're going to show as well. And now it's going to roll and other people will recreate it and show it, you know?
Yeah, I got a great image also of the clouds, this bunch of them going, oh, God knows how many miles an hour over the hills, and yet the clouds further above, perfectly stationary.
Yeah.
I'd really like someone to demonstrate how that freaking works.
Exactly. Exactly, mate.
In this magical Velcro atmosphere. It's utter bollocks.
Yep.
But it's gone well beyond YouTube. Many people know about this.
Yep.
Don't bother with YouTube.
That's it. As I say, all we're seeing now is the death throes, the desperation of this cult now.
It's over.
Aye, it is over. It is over. There's no getting back, you know? So.
Yeah, and you do have to keep with substances over the observations.
Exactly.
It's not till you understand the substance and know that this is all planar that you can then start making some sense of the observations.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just ridiculous. Anyway, I just wanted to jump in. I was going to go live just quickly with these demos. Maybe later I'll just upload it. They're only short.
No, good.
I probably won't put bugger all. I'd actually screen share it now, except I'm not going to.
No, stick it up live, mate. Go live. It'll be good. I just want to see it as well. Other people recreating it and showing it. You know.
Sweet. I'll do that. I just wanted to jump in.
Aye.
This is just fucking annoying now. People just being deliberately stupid. This is fucking obvious.
Yeah. Exactly, mate. Exactly. So,
yeah.
Aye. Well, I look forward to your live, mate, and seeing what you done.
Sweet. No worries.
Cheers for jumping on, mate.
No problem. Catch you later, Dale.
Take care, buddy. Invites. Still nothing there. New invites. No. No. Is Mero or Trackmatic here? Can you let me know if he's trying to figure something out or whatever? So just as Andrew was saying, we deal with the tangibles. The tangibles tell us where we are. Never mind any of these pictures. It's always pictures. Oh, look at my picture, look at my picture. That doesn't trump substance. And again, all this bullshit, you know, again with people like Jamie, how do I know over 1,000 miles of water's no cultivating? Because it doesn't have the fucking capabilities. Do you think at some unspecified scale it adopts a magical membrane that injects viscosity to be like jelly so that it can now deviate from its equilibrium and it can start deviating and maintain the deviation without the water flowing and the surface of the water displaying the bend and the deviation upon its surface? Are you retarded? That's listening to idiots saying it. On some unspecified scale, it takes on new capabilities and new properties, and it behaves differently. It's lunacy. Good. If Jamie's here and anybody else who's going through this is not a personal attack. It's dealing with the content and watching the behaviours of people based on the content and how flimsy it is and how people jump to making decisions. Instead of getting off the fucking PC and figuring things out for yourself and playing with reality to see how it actually works, people are just influenced by external sources, letting that dictate how they think, rather than persevering and verifying and falsifying things for themselves, which is real science. No, I'll just sit on YouTube and I'll wait for some entity to come along and verify my bias or confuse my bias and whatever else. That's lunacy. Let me refresh this Google thing. Nah, still not there. Still not there. Did you, Brian Walker? Aye. Did you climb up the tower and put your camera phone right intersecting the top of the tower? Is that what you done? Is it, Brian? Is it? Or did you just look in Google and say, oh, I'm standing here and it says I'm at this height, so therefore that's the height I'm at? Is that what you done? No, because I don't have a call-in phone sorted out. So Trackmatic, you know, we can so you did, you went right up the tower and intersected the camera so that the top of the tower was intersecting the lens. What did you see? Trackmatic, aye. I mean, obviously I'm going to have the OBS tomorrow night, and it means that I can just post the link direct into the chat box, because obviously with the OBS I don't need to worry about being sniped. So, you know, you're more than welcome to come then. It would be great to have you on. It's been too long. Hello, ears to hear, eyes to see. This is how easy it is to fool people. People were fooled before by an image and a bunch of people going, yeah, and handshaking and patting each other on the back, and that's enough. The NLP's enough, the image and the human behaviours to make them go, oh, right, that's real. Now we've got other dipshits showing you an image and everybody patting them in the back and saying, see, and people going, oh, right, that's real. Fucking shit. I know, David Patterson, it's absolutely pathetic, isn't it? It's terrible. No Globers blocked here. Go and get them all. They can come and join with any sock account they want when it's the open platform. If you let go of your anger, you have perfect peace. We're not in an ideal situation, mate. I don't know if it's escaped your attention, but we're not living in an ideal world. There's a difference between healthy anger and neurotic, psychotic anger based on not being able to control your emotions and your thoughts ruling you. I've been that guy. There's a difference between the anger I express, the contempt I express for bullshit, and anger where I'm in an emotional mess and my thoughts are just ruling the show. So all this words, mantras that just ends everything. Oh, just be like this and it's all perfect. We're not in an ideal setting. We're living in a place where there's people actively deceiving, manipulating, oppressing. Lotus petition, living light. I'm always calm. I never don't trust anybody like that. I wouldn't fucking trust anybody like that. Because they're not real. Look at me, I'm fine-tuned to the universe and all that bum sniff crap. Get rid of the manipulators, the liars, the deceivers. I don't need to get pissed off at anything. Come here. Come here to Scotland and I'll fucking bully you into a corner, right? And start fucking dictating to you and fucking manipulating and deceiving and lying to you. And then when you get pissed off with it, I'm going to say, anger is a negative. Don't get angry. You know, just love and light. Right. We're obviously having technical issues. So, Matty, I hope that you can come and join tomorrow evening. It would be absolutely brilliant to have you on. Never mind. Shut up, Miles, you lying prick. That wee spanker better get his fucking channel deleted or fucking own up and shows that he's got intellectual honesty. Because right now, all I see for the Globe cult and its disciples and their antics is serious dishonesty, unscientific, pseudoscientists, charlatans. Excellent joint, Matty. Wonderful. Well, it's been a pleasure, people. I don't want to have to keep going through this. Right? Center of frame is where the camera lens is pointing. When we say we are leveled to objects in the foreground, we must demonstrate that to be the case. Very concisely, measured, recorded. Because if you don't, and that's not your standard, you'll get dipshits like Miles Davis making any old garbage up to influence you.
All right, my man.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, surprise. Nice one. How you doing,
How you
mate?
doing? I'm sound.
You all right?
How you been? I hope you've whacked these sophist wankers and showed them
Yes.
exactly what's going on.
Exactly what's happened, mate. Exactly what's happened.
Yeah, I had a little time to look at all this circus, but there's so many obvious mistakes in what this guy's doing, and it was great that you looked at it practically, right? Looked at it from a mechanical point of view and pointed out these things. Well done, my man.
Well, cheers, mate. Cheers.
I mean, there's so many fallacies in what this guy's talking about, right? You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what you've all talked about tonight, so I might be repeating stuff, but you
Go
know,
for
the
it.
very fact that substance is, you know, water is level, so we know we don't need to doubt that, right? So it means that any visible phenomena presented to us must have another explanation, right?
Yeah.
So that's fallacy number one. We shouldn't even be entertaining playing these games or discussing it as if it's a real possibility. You know, we know it's wrong. Basta, right? So the only question remaining is, okay, how do we show how it's wrong, right? So that people don't get deceived by it, right? So, you know, that's fallacy number one. The second one is, you know, that perspective only works on a flat plane. Linear perspective only works when you've got, you know, planes, right? It doesn't work. Otherwise, it's called curvilinear perspective, you know? I mean, there's a reason why these two exist, you know? So if he's invoking, you know, arguments about linear perspective, then, you know, he's on to buns, you know? And the other thing that really disturbed me about his scientific, you know, experiment was this, you know, oh, well, I might be approximately 200 meters, you know, oh, it doesn't matter if my camera is not tilted. I mean, every single professional surveyor or engineer knows the absolute necessity to level something, right? If you want to make a visible measurement or a tangible measurement, if you want to make a tangible measurement for construction, fine. You want to make a visible measurement, you need to level your theodolite, you know, whatever it is you're using, right? So the fact that he can be so hairy-fairy about it and then come back and say, oh, look, here's a quantification that I'm showing you guys, the relative position, you know, is all wonky, is absolute bullshit if he hasn't set it up properly, right? And as far as I could see, the man did neither of these things, right? He didn't level it. He didn't show the elevation he was at properly, right?
And if this is the problem, if you're at that elevation, you have to have the foreground object intersecting the central point and show that your device is perfectly leveled. But there's also other problems with these guys when they go to do their observations, because if he tells me that he's 25 kilometers from the bridge and then the mountains in the background are a further 60 kilometers or whatever, then if you're professing that your assumption is that you're on a globe, you have to now calculate and factor in your curve for over that distance. You know, but they don't even offer any of that either, because
I mean, they offer up photos that shouldn't even be possible given the curvature they're claiming, right? You shouldn't be seeing anything, right? And then they're, you know, using the gullibility of people at the end of the day, right, to just believe things without going out and trying it for themselves, you know?
Exactly. And just to reiterate exactly what you say, we're talking about linear perspective, parallels, planes.
Yeah. Exactly. It doesn't work otherwise, you know. You can look at the mathematical foundations of perspective. You know, it doesn't work unless it's planar. So, you know, and you know the arguments this guy's invoking, and what they also like to do. I mean, I looked at his very last video from today. Was it flat Earth disproves side view and perspective? What they all like to do is also confuse a representation of a tangible geometry, i.e., what it looks like on a side view, so to speak, right? And they show you the distances, and mixing that with visible geometry, because what we see is not, you know, a side view like that. We don't see tangibly things far away, lower. They drop their visible position towards the horizon, right? So you can't just show pictures from the side and draw little lines, right? And pretend that, oh, the mountain's still this high. So do you know what I mean? So, you know, they love to mix those two, and even in the words they use. So. You know, people need to watch out for it. But again, you go back to the first one. You shouldn't be getting past first base. You know, water shows us the place is level, right? So why are we even arguing about stupid photos, right? Yes, the only thing left to do is show the deceit, right?
That's exactly why I've done what I've done, because it's deceptive, and I wanted to highlight where he's shown where he's done the deception, because I know it has to be a deception. So therefore, you can reverse engineer and you can recreate based on knowing that it's no a ball. So he's deceiving you, you know. And again, just to reiterate again with perspective, Gav, you know, a horizon on a ball should never rise with you if you start to elevate, maintaining your head perfectly level. It should
non-perceivably, you know. How can it if it's falling away from you, you know, then it's nonsense.
Doesn't matter how big you profess it is, you know, it's a curved line in every direction going away from your feet.
Yep.
It can
and
never...
I mean, that one of the disturbing things is also the way they continuously, you know, they call it flare first perspective. I've seen these derogatory names, right, for people who are trying to ascertain how it works, right? Yep. But they're always it's always browbeaten. It's always, you know, ridicule. You don't know. And they're the people that don't do any real science there. They're the people who don't understand perspective properly, right? I mean, I don't like shouting out, but, you know, I've got a paper up there on the Google Drive that's free for everybody to access with 30 pages of proofs how perspective works, geometric proofs, right? Yeah. So, you know, before the people start to lecture flat earthers that they don't know what they're talking about, you know, they're the guys that just spout nonsense without doing any real research.
Let's put it in context, because these people are just there, they're sophists, they're there deliberately obfuscate and confuse people. So if you want to talk about perspective, go and ask experts, go and ask perspective drawers, go and ask artists, go and ask photographers, go and ask anybody that's in a particular field, and you ask them, where's the horizon if you're level?
They'll tell you exactly what you've been shown to the people in the last videos. That's exactly what they'll tell you. Yeah.
And any one of them will tell you when you elevate up, that'll follow you.
Yep. To say they've dumbed perspective down to things like, oh, double the distance, half the size, right? Yeah. Now, we've talked about this before. The perspective used to be a part of the mathematics curriculum 100 to 150 years ago, right? Absolutely. You'll find lots of books, great books on perspective, how it works, proofs of all the different things, right? But it's been removed from the curriculum. So you've got this dumbed down version, and then you've got these sophists coming, you know, twisting words, you know, browbeaten, you know, appearing to be, you know, absolutely educated, on the subject, and they're not, you know, and people get, you know, all scared of it, so to speak, you know, and that needs to stop. You know, people need to point out a liar when a liar's, you know, on the playing field, you know.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. And these people are the psyop. All their tactics are showing you that it's to psychologically and emotionally deceive people, browbeat them, try and wear them down. It's bully tactics. We're dealing with predators here, bullies, people that have no spine, that want to prey on the weak and keep you weak so that they can dominate you.
Yep. And they're ramping it up, you know, but it's all because, you know, the ball's dead, you know. I always liked one of your video titles, you know, exhuming the globe to kill it again, because that's what it feels like we have to do again and again and again. They just keep coming back with the same arguments, hoping to sway people, you know, and we're way past that. You know, there's too many people woken up for that to work. So, you know, even these wee pathetic attacks where you can see them all getting together and, let's show a photo and let's all, you know, like and share and subscribe. And
well, I'm going to focus on that next week. I'm going to pull up some of these wee derpy, idiotic hangouts and show the content of these people. They're doing nothing but something about bitching and as if they're on some sort of high ground, looking down at the little people with fuck all, and they're going to get found out. Their wee pedestal is going to get booted from right underneath them to the crumble.
Yeah, count me in.
Exactly, mate. So
listen, I haven't watched your video, so I'll maybe just rewind and have a wee look at the start now, and
just a quick one, Gav, that if you don't want, you want to throw your bit in. I was pointing out to people that we'll know in the centre of the picture plane, we're in the lower portion at the ground. So let's get more of an acute angle coming upwards, where the sky has more of a different angle in our view. And also when, you know, people are showing theodolites and crosshairs and saying, look, the ground plane's just below central point, what I've pointed out to people is because in reality both can never cross the central point, because that's not a physical thing. They're always going to be above and below the very center point.
Absolutely true. You know, I mean, it only works that they converge at one point at an infinite distance, right? So any finite distance you take, right, will always have a gap, right?
Yeah.
They haven't met yet, right?
Nope.
And that gap is problematic. You know, this is where a lot of people talk about the convergence band, or, you know, people are giving it a lot of names at the moment, right?
Nope.
But at the end of the day, because these lines only meet at infinity, right, it means that any finite measurement that you make, there's going to be this gap that is problematic, right? Where the floor's still rising, if you like, right?
Yep.
But it hasn't reached the central line yet. So when they talk about these problems in surveying, right, or the horizon is slightly below, then they're measuring from the ground up.
Yep.
And that little gap is a problem, you know? And
Yep.
I'm not saying there's an absolute exacting science to it. This is all what I would say flat earthers are discovering and bringing to light. And it's a good thing, Dale. It's a good thing that it, you know, comes up, you know. But I think we should do a more dedicated session on that if you want, you know.
Definitely.
I'm not doing it justice, maybe, right? So
excellent. Definitely, mate. Definitely.
But I'll leave you. You've probably been on for a while, so
I am. If you're off, I'm just going to cut off anyway, and we'll be back tomorrow. So, and then obviously we can do these presentations as the week goes on.
Aye, we've got a scatter of stuff lined up, so we're on. Let's go on the warpath.
Exactly.
All right, my man. See you tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Cheers. Right. Exactly, Meg Dunn. You're the scientist. Everybody's the scientist. Don't wait for somebody else to confirm your bias, confuse you, any of these things. You're the scientist. When you're looking at anything, it should be real world tangibility that you can go and recreate and verify or falsify for yourself. Then you've got the ability to start making decisions. Until then, you're just spouting from emotional, opinionated bullshit, fluff. Right, people, thank you very much. Mods, always appreciated. I'll see everybody tomorrow evening, usual time. Take care.